Unbelievable respect for both men. I could not be prouder of Conor Benn for what he's been through and the heart that he showed in the ring tonight. You know, Nigel.
The electrifying showdown between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn on April 26, 2025 was more than just a boxing match. It was a spectacle steeped in drama, controversy, and raw emotion. The build-up to the fight was a roller coaster of tension, from Eubank's grueling weight cut to Benn's glove controversy, all culminating in a clash that lived up to its billing as a historic moment in British boxing. Both fighters, driven by pride, legacy, and personal stakes, delivered a performance that left fans in awe and sparked debates about the outcome, the future, and the very nature of the sport. This is the story of a fight that transcended the ring, capturing the heart of Great Britain and the boxing world. The atmosphere surrounding the bout was charged from the start. The rivalry between Eubank Jr. and Benn was not just professional, but deeply personal, rooted in their families' storied histories. Eubank Jr., son of the legendary Chris Eubank Sr., carried the weight of his father's legacy, while Benn, son of Nigel Benn, sought to carve out his own path while honoring his father's reputation as the Dark Destroyer. The pre-fight narrative was dominated by Eubank's struggle to make the 160-pound catchweight, a challenge that would define much of the drama leading up to fight night. Eubank Jr.'s weight cut was nothing short of harrowing. At the official weigh-in, he initially registered 160.2 pounds, just over the limit. After intense efforts to shed the excess, he returned to the scales, only to weigh in at 160.175 pounds, still half an ounce over. This minuscule margin cost him dearly, $375,000, approximately $500,000, contractual penalty payable to Benn. The fine was a stark reminder of the stakes involved and the strict enforcement of weight limitations. Eubank's team, led by his management and coach, downplayed the issue, insisting it was a miscalculation rather than a sign of unpreparedness. However, the incident raised serious concerns about the toll of extreme weight cutting on fighters' health. Behind-the-scenes footage released by Eubank Jr. offered a raw, unsettling glimpse into his weight-cutting process. The video showed him visibly drained, his face hollowed out, and his movements sluggish from dehydration and exhaustion. He resorted to drastic measures, including wearing heavy sweatsuits to trap body heat and crawling into an insulated sleeping bag to force out every last drop of perspiration. These tactics, while common in combat sports, underscored the dangerous lengths fighters go to meet weight requirements. The rehydration clause in the contract, which capped weight gain at 170 pounds on fight day, added further pressure. Any excess would incur additional fines of $100,000 per pound, making Eubank's preparation a high-stakes balancing act. In contrast, Conor Benn navigated the weight requirements with discipline and precision, stepping up 2 weight classes. To meet Eubank at 156.4 pounds, Benn looked shredded and strong, exuding confidence. He emphasized that the weight felt comfortable, allowing him to maintain his speed, explosiveness, and ferocity. Benn's preparation included sparring with larger opponents, which bolstered his belief that he could overcome the size disadvantage. His adherence to the contract's terms stood in stark contrast to Eubank's struggles, and he was quick to call out his opponent's professionalism. "He's disciplined, so he should have made the weight," Benn remarked, dismissing any sympathy for Eubank's predicament. The drama didn't end with the weigh-in. A controversy over Benn's choice of gloves added fuel to the already combustible build-up. Benn opted for traditional horsehair Everlast gloves, which are firmer and considered more punishing. Eubank's team objected, citing a contractual clause that prohibited such gloves, leading to a heated exchange between Benn's co-promoter, Frank Smith, and Eubank's advisor, Majar Majid. The British Boxing Board of Control intervened, confirming that Benn's gloves were approved, but the dispute heightened the tension. The final face-off between the fighters was a study in intensity, with both men locking eyes in a silent promise of what was to come. As fight night approached, opinions were divided on the outcome. Some, like Eubank Sr., believed the weight cut had tilted the scales in Benn's favor, arguing that his son needed his father's support more than ever. Others, including promoter Eddie Hearn, acknowledged Eubank's professionalism despite the shambles of the weigh-in process. Hearn noted that Eubank's stubbornness and experience at similar weights made the miss surprising but not catastrophic. He expressed confidence that Eubank would manage the rehydration clause without issue, focusing instead on the psychological edge Benn seemed to hold going into the fight. When the bell rang, the fight delivered on its promise. Both fighters brought relentless energy, heart, and skill to the ring, creating a spectacle that had fans on the edge of their seats. Benn started fast, his nervous energy translating into a barrage of punches that caught Eubank off guard. Eubank, however, matched Benn's pace, refusing to let the younger fighter dominate. His jab, honed under the tutelage of the late Emanuel Stewart, was a key weapon, allowing him to control rounds and keep Benn at bay. The fight was a back-and-forth battle, with neither man willing to yield. Fans and analysts were divided on the year's outcome. Some believed Eubank's experience and ringcraft gave him the edge, while others argued that Benn's heart and aggression made him the true victor. One ringside observer called it a draw, insisting that both fighters' efforts deserved recognition. "Nobody needs to lose today," he said, praising their work ethic and heart. Another fan hailed the fight as a victory for Great Britain, noting that two native sons had delivered a performance that would be remembered for years. The consensus was clear. The fight had lived up to its hype, igniting the crowd and showcasing the best of boxing. Eubank's performance was particularly impressive given his age and the physical toll of the weight cut. At 36, he dug deep in the championship rounds, showing resolve that surprised even his detractors. Benn, meanwhile, proved he was more than just a name. "I didn't know he had that in him," one observer admitted, confessing to underestimating Benn's resilience. The fight was a testament to both men's wills, with neither backing down despite the grueling pace. Post-fight discussions centered on what comes next. Many called for a rematch, citing the closeness of the bout and the business potential of running it back. "It's a business," one analyst noted, suggesting that the demand for a second fight was undeniable. Others debated whether Eubank should move up in weight, arguing that the 160-pound limit was too taxing on his body. Benn's promoters, meanwhile, saw the fight as proof that he could compete at higher weights, with some suggesting a move to the United States to take on top contenders. The fight also sparked broader conversations about the sport. Eubank's weight miss and the ensuing penalties highlighted the dangers of extreme weight cutting, prompting calls for reform. The glove controversy, while resolved, exposed the mistrust that can pervade high-stakes bouts. Yet, amidst the drama, the fight itself was a reminder of boxing's raw appeal. Two warriors leaving everything in the ring, driven by pride and legacy. For fans, the fight was a roller coaster of emotions. The weight drama, glove disputes, and fines created a soap opera-like atmosphere, but the action in the ring was pure, unadulterated boxing. "I'm fascinated, slightly amused, but totally locked in," one fan remarked, capturing the sentiment of those who followed the saga. The fight was a rare commodity, a clash that transcended sport and became a cultural moment. As the dust settled, both fighters emerged with their reputations enhanced. Eubank Jr. proved he could still compete at an elite level, while Benn established himself as a legitimate contender. The question of who won may never be fully settled, but the impact of the fight was undeniable. It was a night that showcased the heart, skill, and drama of boxing, leaving fans eager for the next chapter in this riveting rivalry. For those watching, the choice of who to back was personal. Some gravitated toward Eubank's experience and grit, while others were drawn to Benn's hunger and ferocity. The beauty of the fight was that it didn't demand a definitive winner. It was a celebration of two fighters pushing each other to the limit. As the boxing world looks ahead, one thing is certain: the Eubank-Benn saga is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be just as thrilling.